dear students, welcome back to the physics class. In the previous videos, we already learned about the balanced forces and unbalanced forces, and today is the continuation of the unbalanced forces. Okay, today we are going to learn about the Newton's first law of motion as the continuation of the Galileo's observation, because Newton formulated his laws of motion as a continuation of Galileo's observation. So before studying the Newton's first law of motion, we want to go through the Galileo's observation. So let's see the observations of Galileo. Okay, so Galileo is named as the father of modern physics. Okay, so let's see what is the observations of Galileo. Here you can see an inclined plane. When ball is rolled on from inclined plane, the velocity of ball increases. When ball rolls up, its velocity decreases. In case of double inclined plane, ball roll down the plane of double inclined plane and then again climbs up the other plane. If the angle of inclination of both plane is equal, then the distance travelled by the ball in second plane will be same as the distance travelled in the first plane. Okay. Also, height travelled on both plane is same. Okay. Now, consider another case where angle of inclination of second plane increases. In this case, ball travels larger distance to reach original height. With further decrease in angle of inclination, there is an increase in distance. So, a situation comes where angle of inclination becomes 0, the ball will continue to travel in same path, that is in the same straight path, trying to reach the same height. That is, a body in motion doesn't need an external unbalanced force for it to continue in its state of rectilinear uniform motion. Okay. So, this is the observation of Galileo. So, next one is the Newton's first law of motion, and we already know Newton formulated his laws of motion as a continuation of Galileo's observation. So, let's see what is the law states. Every object continues in a state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line unless an unbalanced external force acts on it. An unbalanced external force is needed to change the state of rest or motion of an object. Okay, otherwise it does not change. So here are some examples for this. First one, take few coins of same size, arrange them vertically on each other above the smooth surface. Okay. Take another coin and give a sharp hit at the base of pile. And let's see what happens here. Hit of coin applies force on lower coin. Due to this, lower coin gains motion and hence changes its position. All the coins present above the lower coin experience a vertical fall as they try to maintain their state of rest. So, this inability of the body to change its state by itself is called inertia. So, let's see another example related with this. Take a coin and place it on a rigid card. Now, place them all together on a empty glass. Then, like in the figure, strike the card such that the card shoots away. At that time, what we can see? Yes, while we strike the card, the force applied on the card which provides it with motion, hence card shoot away. Coin present on card falls into the glass in order to maintain its state of rest. That means the coin remains in its state of rest. So, it doesn't have the tendency to change the state of rest. So, this inability is called inertia. Okay. So, this inability shown by these bodies in the experiment to change its state of rest by itself is inertia of rest. Okay. Next is the relation between inertia and mass. Okay. For that, here two boxes are given, one with greater mass and another with smaller mass. Okay. So, the box with the greater mass possesses greater inertia than the smaller one. That means it has the greater inability to change its state of rest or motion. For that, another example is also given. Here you can see a train and a bicycle. The inertia of train is much greater than the inertia of bicycle. That is, the inertia of an object depends upon its mass. When the mass increases, inertia also increases. This is the relation between mass and inertia. Next example is related with a moving bus, and you can see a man standing inside the bus. Okay, at a state of rest, when driver applies brake, the motion of bus slows down and body maintains in state of rest due to inertia. When bus starts, the body tends to fall backward. This is because the feet are in contact with the bus. As motion of bus starts, feet experience motion, but rest of the body tries to be at rest, and hence the body tries to fall backward. It is an example for inertia of rest. So let's see another example. While taking a U-turn or sharp turn by the bus, the body gets thrown to the opposite side. This is because the body tries to maintain its motion in straight line. So these are the examples for inertia of motion. So let's conclude inertia with its definitions. First one, inertia. So what is inertia? Inertia is the inability of a body to change its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line by itself. Okay, so inertia is the inability of a body. Okay, so inertia is of two types. First one is inertia of rest. It is the tendency of a body to remain in its state of rest or its inability to change its state of rest by itself. That means with the help of an unbalanced external force only, it can change its state of rest. Okay. Then what is inertia of motion? It is the second type of inertia. It is the tendency of a body to remain in its state of motion or its inability to change its state of motion by itself. Okay. So let me believe that you all understood the topic related with Newton's first law of motion and inertia. And this Newton's first law of motion is also called law of inertia. Okay. So if you have any doubts related with this, you can ask me through the WhatsApp. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.